Alright, so back again. Glad you could join me here in my shop working with this old antique hand tractor. Now I have an older video from about last year about this thing. I've had it just sitting around. I haven't done anything with it. This is a hand tractor back before wind tractors were quite expensive and people had little farmsteads. I believe the year on this is like 1930s, not positive. I had to clean up this badge and research it. I'll put it up here at the top of the video if I am able to figure it out. Let me wipe that off. What do we got here? So we got, what does that say? M1DW7 204128. An actual brass badge, so you know it's old. This thing was in a little better condition than when I got it. This badge is completely, I don't really know if that was a badge or a cover plate, but you know it's old because these hand grips have actually decomposed. You see this end bar is solid steel. You don't see that too much in construction. That looks like first pour iron to me. This crossbar is solid iron, and you've got the old ball throttle. You know that's old. And then a actual metal wire throttle cable coming on down. Now my original plan was to put a gasoline engine on this and make a little tow project, pull like a wagon. And initially, when these were used back on the old farmsteads, that's what they did. They hooked up a variety of implements to that hitch right there. That's a hitch. And then up front you've got for like a plow, for plowing the driveway or the field, you've got an attachment point. When I found this, had like looked to be an 8 or a 10 horsepower cast iron old boy engine. Same color, orange. I kicked myself for getting rid of that. When I found this, I did demolition and we were tearing out an old garage way out in the country. I mean, way by the Indiana-Michigan border. And this barn had collapsed, so we were tearing it out. And on the inside was this, and I just had to have it. The guys on the crew thought I was crazy, but it was just something I had to have. So I tore that motor out because it was so heavy with that, and I was able to rescue this. It's probably a good 8 years ago now. I've had this sitting around. But it's got studded truck tires that are obviously add-ons at some point. But it's perfect for my purposes because what I'm going to do with it, I'm going to repower it. I'm going to put this AGNI electric motor that I was going to put on my wave runner. I'm always changing my mind about what motor to do on what. But the reason I'm going to put this on here is because this has a gear reduction belt drive. You can see it's geared extremely low, probably 15 to 1 and or 18 to 1. I have to look it up. And this AGNI motor right here at 24 volts, it's about 2 horsepower, and I could draw 1500 watts at 24 volts. So that 2 horsepower electric is probably 5 foot-pounds. It's not a ton of power. This thing only spin about, at 24 volts, I believe it only spins 1,000 RPMs. So it won't be extremely fast, but I have different belting options, different mounting options. I got the original mounting plate. So today what we're going to do, I got some screws. I'm going to reattach this motor to its mount. It didn't come with the original screws, so I went to the hardware store. Then I got these bolts to mount it to mount that mount to here. Might not get to that tonight. I'm just going to probably mount the motor. But I just wanted to talk about this old boy and what I'm going to do with it. It's basically going to be used initially for the campground. See, I got that old 1957 Ideal camper out here. Me and my brother are restoring that starting in October. But my brother, my mother, they all have travel trailers, so we're always going to the campground. It's one of our fun things that we do. And my brother's idea was for me to put a hitch on this, and so I can manipulate and move around the campers. And I think that's a great idea because I have a little truck, so I can load this up on the back on the ramps, and I'll be able to move the campers around with this cool thing. And if anybody there at the campground needs theirs moved, if I can work out how to get her done. I have the option to add a post with a wheel down here if I need to, or an additional, I got a giant caster wheel that I can put up here in the front if need be, to balance out the weight. I get it figured out because that's what I like to do. And then it'll have an additional use where I can bring a big wagon with me, one of those big commercial, with the 10-inch tire wagons. And then that way we can hop in that, and it's electric, so it won't make a ton of noise and it'll look goofy. But I pull the kids around, or if they want to drive, my little son wants to drive it around or something. It's not going to be fast, so but it'll climb anything, and be able to pull the wagon up to the store and look like a goofball. How I do, I don't mind that a bit because it's just freaking cool. So as it's been sitting, it looks like, I'm not sure if that's just water or if the grease is finally leaked out of this, because when I found it, I checked the fluid and it was still full. That was a long time ago. It was 8 years ago, so we'll see. I might have to pull the gearbox out and replace that seal, clean the gears out. That'll be a video if I do. If there's still grease in there, I'll probably just in the interest of simplicity, I'll probably just drain it out, fill it up with some Lucas. And so yeah, anyway, I'll get to the do a little bit of motor work, and that'll be the video. Alright, so get to it. We got all these little screws here. Let's mount this motor. We got 4 of them in. Oh, that's going reasonably well. Looks like I'm going to have to dig my flywheel puller out, because this pulley right here for a giant belt, this is what's called an AGNI motor, a Lynch motor, invented by Cedric Lynch in '79. It's an amazing motor. I've done a bunch of videos about it. It's just, it's a variable field or axial field electric DC high power motor. These things are used on go-kart, 2-seater go-karts, 1-seater racing go-karts. They're used real high-end go-karts. They're also used on racing motorcycles and all kinds of electric projects. They're amazing because they don't have normal coils. They have these spades instead, these spades of copper, and they're very efficient. 93% efficient electric motors. For their size, their power to size ratio is also way up there, and their weight. They're just all around cool motors. I'd love to make an electric car with 4 of these motors, 1 in each wheel. It could be done. I'd love to see it done anyway. Nobody else does it. I'd love to do it because each one of these motors is capable of about 20 horsepower or more, but somewhere around 80 foot-pounds of torque, which is crazy. You figure 4 of them, that's 320 foot-pounds of torque. That's plenty to move a small car around. And for the price, I mean, these go for around $1,000, $2,000, depending on where you look. So you'd be out. They're kind of pricey option, but definitely something worth considering. Just because the simplicity of a DC motor, you just have a controller. Like, look at this cheap little Chinese controller I got off of eBay. I think it was $20, and the controller made for this motor. I had it, and like a dummy, when I got rid of the 2-seater go-kart it came off, I got rid of the controller. I'll always kick myself for doing that. But anyway, let's just fire it up. So I get this little cheap controller. I was surprised when I got it. It actually works. You just, so you got the little display, the little readout for the percentage of power. Right now we'll be at go to 10%. See it spinning there. Turn it down. Starts spinning at 2%. Starts turning really slow like that, and it's actually got a ton of torque. It's twisting out of my hands at 2%. So let's go up to here. That's the power I'll have to move this thing around. But yeah, will it move at 1? Nope. So at 5, let's just put it at 5%. Oh, it went down to 4 because I dropped it. But I mean, that thing, I can barely stop it with my hand at 4%. Let's put it up to 8%. You right there? Oh yeah, this thing is so torquey. That's literally at only 24 volts. I mean, 16, no, do I dare? Yeah, there's no stopping it at 16. So yeah, you can see the kind of power that this is producing. I just love messing with this. You feel it cools itself. That's why it's so efficient, is because the actual design of the motor, it cools itself through these cooling vents, so it doesn't build up any heat. Just an amazing motor. Look up AGNI motors, Cedric Lynch. I've got a video about it. I'm kind of a fanboy, if you will, of the guy. I think he's a genius inventor. As an inventor myself, I look at people like him and I just think that they are the tops. So anyway, got the screws in there. Pull this off here a minute. Obviously I need 2 more, but that'll do for my purposes. I'm going to get the flywheel puller on the next video, and we'll pull this flywheel off and get I've got one over here, I believe. It'll fit that shaft. Yep, right on this this Harbor Freight engine back here. This was my old. I could actually, if I could find the clip, that'd be great. But this is mounted to a snowblower, and I had a handle on it. I actually used this to pull myself around on various, like a wagon. It worked great. It was pulled a sled with it in the winter time. That's where I kind of had the idea for this. I actually pulled this chair right here, this Herman Miller or knockoff chair, I'm not sure, and I broke the wheel off. If you look, I got a broken wheel. With my passed on neighbor, he was a good guy. He videoed it, but I'm sure that video is long gone. Maybe I ought to find it on Facebook, but the good times, yeah. I had a handle hooked up to that, and I just kind of pulled myself around on the chair, and then we did it in the sled. But the problem with that thing is the wheels were just too small. They're real knobby and good. It was cool because it had a gearbox. It was gas engine. Even had reverse, but yeah, just only problem was the wheels were too small. So I guess I could have put bigger wheels on it and achieved the same thing. But when I found this, I instantly thought this would be the perfect thing to do that with. I actually had this before I made that, so I've been planning on this for a long time. I just got to get it together. Anyway, if you like this hand tractor video or any of my other projects, I'll just give you a quick walkthrough of what I'm going to be working on for the rest of the summer. I've got this I want to finish up. The four-wheeler, I went through, did a Willet run. That got pretty popular. I ride the shit out of this before winter hits, because I only really ride this in the winter. I'm actually going to bring this out to my mom's to clear out some of this room. My mom has a property in the country, so probably bring this out there. She loves riding the go-kart, but got rid of that go-kart so I could do a project. So yeah, we'll bring this out there, get 2 new tires put on it. But as far as running, it runs perfect. I just got to remount the plastics and the air filter, I believe. Yeah, the air filter. I got the box in there. I just got to get that back together. A little snorkel air system. It's a Polaris 250. It makes almost 30 horsepower. Thing's a blast. Has the old variable style clutch. Love that thing. And we've got the extreme deflagration burner that's on hold just for now. That's for my memorial company. Living Memories or Tree of Life, and got some work to do on this, some casting work. This is an old kiln that I'm converting. Use the extreme deflagration oil burner. It's going to run off that gas blower. I'm going to use this as my burn chamber right here, this old fire extinguisher. I got the hole cut in the bottom there finally. And I got a series of videos about that. Then come over here. I got this working good. My son and all the kids at the campground like to ride that little stupid thing around. Got this motorized bike I got from the scrapyard not too long ago. I'm going to do a will it run video. This is pretty nice for 20 bucks that I got it at the scrapyard. It's a giant bike. I thought it was spray painted at first, but it's not. It's a decent bike for 20 bucks. And then I had the motor kit with a better carburetor on it and missing the side cover, but it's got compression. It looks like a brand new CDI. I'm pretty sure that, and that's the higher power motor kit. I put tons of these on. As you can see, I've got another one on an antique Schwinn back there. I've got another one on that mountain bike there. I've ridden like 20,000 miles on these things. I don't really ride them anymore. There's the electric bike back in there, that cruiser. That's the one that I ride. But not this summer. I haven't ridden it. My girlfriend's bike. Got this electric scooter at the same time as I got this bike here. And there's my rototiller. I used it in my other video. Back here is the Motor Hispania RX50. Really rare bike. It's 50cc liquid cooled. I got a pretty popular video about that. I'm actually trading that for a 1972 Honda CT90. Hopefully that goes through next week. I'm just waiting on the guy to get this gas tank back. And hopefully he does the trade, because I've always wanted one of those CT90s. I grew up riding a 70 and watched a guy called Musty One on YouTube. I don't know if you've caught that guy before, but really interesting guy. If you haven't seen Musty One, he's like me times a million. He's super talented and very interesting, nice guy. He's one of the people I try to achieve to be, which I never will be, obviously. I'm Ryan Buchman. I'm a different person altogether. But, I like monkeying around with stuff. Come up with a lot of inventions, but that's neither here nor there. I don't really do many videos about that, but I do have some that could change the world. Let's get back to this stuff. So then I've got this little scroll saw that I got. I'm going to mount it to the bench. It's kind of cool. I've got a motor to run that. Just got to get some belts for this, and I'll get one for that at the same time. Got all the pulleys I need. And then I've got this little scroll saw. This ancient one. I'll probably work on that too. Too many projects. Those are probably winter time. Then come over here. This is a 340 Spirit motor. Made in Japan. Arctic Cat. Spirit 60x60 stroke. It's really cool. It's got the turbine air cooling built in. This thing runs. I got it with a go-kart project. Here, I'll step outside and show you that. Oh, just now started recording. Okay, so there's the cart I traded the other go-kart for. It's pretty sweet here. Come on back. That's what this Spirit motor's for. It's got a really cool differential and a new belt. It's like a 1 to 12 gear reduction unit there. Got a gas tank. I'd like to get this together. My mom loved riding my other go-kart. My son did too. But the only problem was it's too powerful for him. He's only 7. So this is a 2-seater. Work some magic on it. Hone my skills on rebuilding stuff and get this going. It's got a built-in thick-ass roll bar. It's kind of a homemade project. I'm not really sure. But it's heavy duty as hell. It's got rack and pinion steering. Tires actually hold air, so I'm just gonna, and they're like studded. And the back ones are ATV wheels. I'm probably gonna take those ATV wheels, fill them up with green slime, and rock and roll them until they're too shot to hold air. Maybe even fill them with foam. I'm not sure on that. Now let's come over here. The TSR 1100. It's another project. This is for my girlfriend. She wanted it. I got it for free off of Craigslist. It's got a bunch of parts. I mean, who would turn down something for free? I know it's some junk in my driveway, but my girlfriend really wanted it, and she doesn't like going fast. So we go out on my fishing boat all the time, and there's not quite enough room for the three of us, me, my son, and her. So what we can do is repower this, get a little bit bigger trailer, then I can throw this and my boat on the trailer, and I'll show you the plan here. I'll talk to you about the plan for that back in here. So, well, there's the old Honda. Come back in here. So the engine that I want to put in that, I was going to do this 5 horsepower 2-smoker with electric start. In C, I'm ordering the drive shaft. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to mount that motor and that jet ski and see if I can run it off of that. So if I can, it goes 5 miles an hour, or maybe even a little faster, that would be freaking awesome. And a direct drive, super simple, just build like a little bit of a flexible coupler between that motor and the drive shaft. And it's got a brand new impeller in that wave runner, so really like to get that project done this summer. If not, if I get this 4-wheeler out of here, I can work on that over the winter. We'll do that next year. And but yeah, look forward look for my other videos if you like this kind of stuff. You like seeing me screwing around in my garage. It's what I do for fun. It's what I love. I appreciate anybody who likes, comments, subscribes, especially comments. Give me some input. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what I'm doing right. I really enjoy making YouTube videos, and I've been on YouTube since 2006 when it came out, 2007, something like that, and I knew it would change the world when they came about. I started uploading videos pretty much immediately, but yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. You have yourself an excellent night.